from the team you can trust. This is breaking news from News 8.
And our Smart Start begins this morning with breaking news. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office is attempting to locate a missing teenager.
Yeah, take a look at the picture. Deputies say 13-year-old Zimia Terry was last seen in the area of Meadow Farms in Shiloh. She's described as 5'3", last seen wearing pink, white, yellow tie-dye hoodie, gray pants, in a multicolored backpack. If you have any information on where she is, you are asked to call 911.
The Rochester man arrested in connection with the deadly riots at the U.S. Capitol in January is trying once again to be released from jail. Dominic PEZZOLA has been in custody since January 15th for allegedly breaking into the Capitol building and causing damage to federal property. In a new court motion, PEZZOLA's attorneys say the jail conditions violate basic human rights. They argue he doesn't have access to showers or private counsel, among other needs. A grand jury indicted PEZZOLA on charges of conspiracy, assaulting a federal police officer, and destruction of government property back in January. He is being held in Washington until his trial.
A Canandaigua man is in serious condition after catching on fire. Police responded to a home on North Road for the report of a man on fire around 4 p.m. yesterday. Officers located 61-year-old Robert Burtis behind a garage there where bystanders had put out the flames. He was given emergency care at the scene, then flown by Mercy Flight to Strong's Burn Intensive Care Unit, where he remains in serious condition. Police at the scene would not say whether they believed the incident is suspicious or how the man caught fire. President Biden is heading to Philadelphia today to warn Americans about what he calls efforts to restrict their right to vote. His speech comes as several states enact laws that Democrats say will make it harder for people to cast their ballots. Republicans say that they're trying to strengthen voting laws.
We are joined by Washington correspondent Kelly Meyer again this morning from Washington, D.C. Kelly, good morning. So where is Congress on passing federal voting rights legislation? Appear to have lost our signal with Kelly this morning. Our apologies. We'll try to bring that segment back at a later time.
Yeah, in the meantime, Democrats in the Texas legislature walked out of a session yesterday in which new voting rights were set to be passed. They're now in Washington, D.C., abstaining from GOP bills surrounding voting. We will continue to follow this.
Hey, severe weather continuing to impact parts of the western U.S. Have a look. According to the National Weather Service, at least a half a dozen states are under excessive heat alerts, and more than 300,000 acres of land are being threatened by wildfires. Energy concerns as well in California and Oregon, as residents there are being told to conserve electricity. This while temperatures are hitting record highs. Death Valley in California recorded a 130-degree high temperature yesterday.
Back here at home, a muggy start to this Tuesday. James, how are we looking for the day?
Pretty good, Leah. I think at least for the morning part, we're looking not too bad at all. We'll have temperature starting off in the upper 60s, not too bad for a morning jog, but by the afternoon, we will track showers and thunderstorms. So if you're thinking about heading to the playground, make sure to check radar to see where those storms are moving, because they will be pushing through as we get into the afternoon. Commute forecasts coming up. Mark, Leah?
All right, James, thank you. Time for another check of the roads with our sunrise traffic. And the beat goes on at this hour. 390, 490, and 590, all on time on this Tuesday morning.
Grease trap legislation could soon be signed into state law. It's called Bryce's Law, named after a 3-year-old boy who died after falling into a grease trap.
This was in Rochester. Carmela Boykin live with an update on the legislation. Carmela, good morning.
Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Leah. I'm live outside the Tim Hortons on University Avenue, where 2 years ago, 3-year-old Bryce Rayner fell into a grease trap and died. In response, Assemblymember Harry Bronson co-wrote Bryce's Law. Bronson says adding a secure top to grease trap only has benefits.
An easy thing for businesses to do. This is not going to be a burden on businesses at all. It's common sense to have those safety covers on, to have them secure, and to have them made out of material that a young child will not fall through.
A safety cover with precautions like needing a wrench to open and having an adult present whenever the cover is off.
Bronson owns the coffee shop Equal Grounds and says having a protective cover over the grease trap isn't a hindrance.
So it's not going to have an adverse impact on businesses. It's going to have a tremendous impact on making sure that our young people, our young children are safe.
Bronson says the bill is passed both in the New York State Assembly and the New York State Senate, and over the summer it will reach the desk of the governor. Reporting in Rochester, Carmela Boykin, News 8.
Carmela, thank you so much. The Monroe County Legislature did pass a law to regulate grease traps back in September of 2019, shortly after Bryce's death.
The Rochester police officer accused of stealing thousands in merchandise from Home Depot in Henrietta is due in court today. Officer Dave Pearson, a 13-year veteran of the force, was arrested by Monroe County Sheriff's deputies last month and charged with grand larceny. He is scheduled to appear in Henrietta Town Court.
No suspects in custody after a home in Penfield was struck by gunfire. The Monroe County Sheriff's Office says a garage door and parked vehicle were hit on Woodside Drive yesterday around noontime. Deputies say they are looking for a small, light-colored sedan that was seen in the area at the time of this incident. Now, no one was injured. Deputies are asking anyone in the area with security camera footage to call 911.
Wegmans will start offering hot food bars at stores once again. In May, Wegmans officials announcing they had no plans to bring back the hot and cold food bars in stores that were removed due to COVID-19 restrictions. A Wegmans spokesperson says there is already a hot food bar at the Pittsford store on Monroe Avenue, and it plans to open more at other stores over the next couple of weeks. Now for the latest on COVID-19, with just a 2% uptick in vaccinations in over a month, local health officials say demand for the COVID vaccine has greatly diminished in Monroe County. Experts predicting the decline could be a challenge with the Delta variant now the dominant strain in the U.S. To combat this, local leaders are launching a new push to vaccinate underserved communities. Monroe County officials say vaccinating more people will help save lives.
SUNY officials also attempting to get more students vaccinated before the start of the fall semester. For the next 30 days, SUNY schools are ramping up social media outreach using the hashtag 30-Day Vax Challenge. Students can take part by filming a short video and explaining their reason for getting the vaccine. In a recent SUNY survey of more than 30,000 students, nearly 75% said they received at least one dose of the vaccine.
Pfizer speaking with U.S. health officials as the company prepares to seek emergency use authorization for a COVID-19 booster shot. But some health officials remain unconvinced that that shot is necessary. According to the current CDC recommendations, fully vaccinated Americans do not need a third shot at this time.
U.S. health officials are investigating the possibility that Johnson & Johnson's COVID vaccine may pose a, quote, small possible risk of potentially dangerous neurological reaction. Nearly 13 million people have received the J&J vaccine. The CDC says it's received reports of 100 people who've developed Guillain-Barré syndrome afterward. The immune system disorder can potentially cause muscle weakness and even paralysis. Here's what some folks might be talking about at the water cooler this morning. What a show by Pete Alonso last night of the New York Mets at the Home Run Derby at the Major League All-Star Game festivities. He is the champion again for the second straight time after beating Trey Mancini of the Orioles in the final round. Alonso won back in 2019. Last year's Derby was canceled because of the pandemic. Mancini, by the way, missed the entire 2020 season while undergoing treatment for colon cancer. Alonso hit a total of 74 home runs in the Derby to win the $1 million prize. That All-Star game is coming up tonight at 7:30.
How awesome. Way to go, Pete Alonso. Great to see that. All right, listen to this. The New York State Lottery announcing a top prize winning ticket for the July 12th Take 5 drawing was sold near Rochester. That winning ticket, worth $54,458, was sold at the LATTA Road Wegmans in Greece. The winning numbers, take a look: 7, 14, 20, 28, and 37.
That's 2 days in a row.
2 days in a row. Let's go. Let's buy a ticket.
I think in Irondequoit yesterday, right? And then now Greece today.
And it comes in threes, so.
Yeah.
Maybe it's our turn.
Maybe snag a Take 5 at some point on your travels today.
Right, as you're driving around town this morning thinking about playing a little bit of Lotto. I have a $3 scratch-off that's just sitting in my car. I haven't cashed it yet.
You haven't done it yet? Oh, no. Did you win?
Yeah, I won. I won $3.
Oh, you won
Use
$3.
it to get a Take 5.
Right, there we go. Okay, why not? Hey, keep your eye to the sky this afternoon. Strong storms going to be possible, really for everybody. Sometimes we say just Finger Lakes. No, I think for everybody, including Rochester, including Monroe County, including the Lake Shore. Everybody's got a storm threat this afternoon.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching News 8 at Sunrise.
Our next update is coming up in 30 minutes. CBS This Morning is up next. Be safe and have a great day.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.